Hello, and welcome to Joanne Within. I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer and mystical medicine expert, along with the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck, a mom and a wife, and we're still in 2023. How are you all dealing and experiencing your spiritual awakening for this year? Cannot believe we're already September 17th for that matter. Wow, has time flown? Has been flying for you as well? How are you doing? What's going on? If you are watching with us live, please do me a favor, share, like, and comment. I just shared it out as well, so do that. Let me know what you like about the show. Remember, if you've missed an episode or two, you can always go back and watch on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, right here on Facebook, YouTube, and of course Twitter. So, the last episode was about 2 weeks ago where I had Deborah Beatty, and she was chatting about from cards to clarity. And she shared a whole lot of information. There is a flyer with her information on there. She shared a whole lot of information about from cards to clarity, and that, yes, when you do get a card reading, it's more than just a card reading. There's a lot of insight that shows up. I, like many other readers, do believe that when we give you insight from a card reading, it's planting a seed, and then it's up to you to decide what you want to do with the insight that shows up. So if you did miss that episode, I encourage you to go back and watch, especially if you're planning on getting a reading anytime soon, and considering the energy we are moving into as we move into 2024. You might be interested in getting a reading. You might also be interested in getting your own deck. Just put it out there. Just an FYI. Anyway, before I dive in and get carried away, I want to give a shout out to all of my partners that do help make this show run. We're going to start off with Joe Monkman. He's our shamanic healing practitioner and wellness advocate. We then have CJ Ives Lopez. She's the host and publisher of the Author's Porch podcast and magazine. Kitty Foss and Amy Martin, host of Intuition of the Soul. Deborah Beatty, which I just spoke about, she's our badass color mystic. Then we have Tammy Moses. She's our founder and chief encouragement officer and the founder of the Hoarding Solution as well. Then last but not least for today, we have James. He's our native Hawaiian healer. Notice I left out his name. I don't say it so greatly. He will obviously introduce himself when he comes on shortly. So all that being said, I do want to share some amazing insight that is going on with our energy, which is what I do. I bring information to you regarding astrology, numerology, chakras, and everything in between. And the energy we have going on right now, this is literally from today right in through next, give and take Friday, Saturday, is the last week of what I like to call Virgo season, and also the last week of, at least on the East Coast, summer. The sun itself is going to be transitioning out of Virgo and moving into Libra. And what does that actually mean? Well, I can spend an entire show talking about that. Yet, that's not going to take place today. I'm just going to give you a little bite size of what that means for you. As the sun enters Libra, make note that our south node is in Libra. Therefore, there's going to be a lot of energy being activated in our Libra segment, along with Mars is in Libra as well. So at that point, we're going to have the sun, the south node, and Mars sitting in Libra. If in case you're not familiar with what Libra is about, Libra is the zodiac sign that sits in the 7th house, and it's responsible for relationships, balance, harmony, marriage in a traditional way, but also marriage in regards to what you're married to, your habits, your beliefs, your programming, your philosophies, all of that wrapped up in a nice little present, so to speak. And it's all going to be put under a microscope, so to speak, especially when we think about bringing justice to all that. So if, in fact, you have been experiencing some challenges, obstacles, darkness, craziness, and whatever other word you want to use in regards to relationships, well, rightfully so. Because of this energy that we are in, as we are in this 7 energy collective universal energy year, which is about spiritual awakenings and spiritual awareness. And as we move, as the sun enters Libra, It's going to amplify those relationships. Please follow me on all my other platforms to learn more about how this Libra season can very well influence you. Because, like I said, there's not enough time for me to go through this right now. This is just a little bite-sized information about this, about Libra season, where again we're going to have the Sun, the South Node, and Mars. Mars is the planet of action. Your South Node is what you left off in a previous life and what you're here to start up in this lifetime. So if you're familiar with your North and South Node information, that's what this is going to amplify for you during this Libra season. So all that being said, what I would like to do is pull a card to help you navigate through this energy. And do keep in mind, this is the last week that we are in Virgo and the Sun, and that we are also in summer. And we have the fall equinox coming in on the 22nd, 23rd, depending on where you are in the world, and along with fall coming in. So we're going to be going from our summer slinky clothes into some sweaters and hats and all that as the fall gets here. So what do we need to know? Oh, that's a great card, self-love. Now, this card is a great card for any time of year, but it's really important for this time because, again, when we think of Libra energy, it is about relationships. And the most important relationship that you do want to focus on is self-love, bringing more love into your own energy field. The root chakra, grounding your energy. Learning how to use affirmations based on each chakra. Theoretically, most people who do affirmations spend a lot of time in the I Ams, which is all about the root energy. There is more than the I am affirmations, but for this, in regards to the root, it's really important that you ground your energy during this shift that we're going to be experiencing as we go through this fall equinox energy. 7-3, 7, very much associated with Libra season, and 3 is about how we communicate, how we collaborate, how we connect, how we create. Works out to be a 10 energy, so that 10 is about new beginnings and reminding you that you have potential and choices. We always have a choice to do something, and we always have a choice not to do something. No one has free will. So if you do decide that you do not want to really participate in relationships, that's your choice to do. If you're looking to grow and you want to experience some enticement and seeing who you are on a deeper level, that's your choice to do so. So that 10 energy is reminding you of that. That 10 energy is very much also associated with the node energy, which is about your soul's purpose, the North and South Node. Remember, Libra is our South Node energy for right now. So it is really about bringing more balance into your relationships, of all relationships there are, whether it's professional or personal. All that being said, work on your root chakra, that red energy, so you can be more grounded and able to focus on bringing more self-love into your energy field. I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and when I get back, I'm going to have, or bring in, when I get back, my guest and volunteer, and this is going to be a very informative show for those of you who are watching, and hopefully you had a chance to witness the applying healing segment that took place 4 weeks ago. I will be right back.
What do you think is the biggest hurdle that's holding you back from living the life that you wanted to live, the life of your dreams? Aloha, everyone. My name is James Koinui. I'm a native Hawaiian healer. My family goes back in Hawaii over 20 generations, and I work with my ancestors to help you answer that question and any other questions you may have. Reach out to me, james@jameskoinui.com, or you can find me, www.jameskoinui.com.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. And if you are just tuning in right now and you missed the first part of today's show, please go back and watch from the very beginning. You can do so by watching Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, of course, here on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. I do always like to share a little bit about the card that showed up in the first part, and that card is about self-love. And what a perfect message as we are slowly weaving away from Virgo season and moving into Libra season, and we're also weaving out of summer and into fall on the East Coast. So this is a perfect time to activate self-love. The root chakra is all about getting grounded and connected to the heavens and to the earth, and for that matter, your community as well. That 10 is all about new beginnings on its way. And what a great way to start off with new beginnings is with self-love. All right, so there you have it for the card. Give me one sec. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guests that are on today, a guest and volunteer. We have James and we have Gail with us today. As they come on up, I'm super excited for today's episode because it is a part 2 of this episode where hopefully you all had an opportunity to check out the show about 4 weeks ago where James did a brilliant Hawaiian healing demonstration with Gail. And today is the Q&A. So what I like to do, I'm going to turn the mic over to James so he can give a little bit more information regarding what took place 4 weeks ago for those who didn't catch the show and what he's going to be doing today. So James, welcome to today's show.
Aloha, Joanne. Thank you for having me, and great to be here with you and with Gail. And just before we went on the air, I started asking questions, and Joanne was like, wait, don't do that now. Save this for the show. So
yes.
I've been curious since the last show, but we're just going to go back and maybe recap a little bit. And we had a short session with Gail. And in that session, we were talking about some things that had happened in her life and also about shifting and bringing and being able to put the energy back into her body again and what that felt like and the transformation process that she went through as she looked at that. And if I remember correctly, getting reacquainted with her little 8-year-old self, which was actually a very beautiful experience when that happened. And so I have been dying to ask you, Joanne, how everything's been since we did that session.
And you're asking this to Gail.
I'm actually not the Gail. I'm looking at Gail and I'm saying Joanne. So there you go.
Well, things have definitely shifted in a really significant and yet subtle way.
Okay.
All right. So I did take some notes when we were on the show last time, and a few things that it clicked in my head. What it really came around to a lot was the concept of losing my voice. Where am I not able to speak up? Because twice in the prior week to us sitting down on the show, I had toasted my voice, whether at concerts or whatever, but my throat and my voice was not solid. It wasn't my voice. It was wrecked, actually. And at one point during the time that we worked together, you talked a little bit about a maternal ancestor who guiding over me. And there's actually many of those, but I didn't necessarily have anything in particular come up. I have one Marinia that is usually she's like the primary protector and so on. So whenever somebody talks about, I have a fly in my house. Sorry. It might be them. I don't know. It's probably like, really, you're gonna just kind of push me in the background there. So at any rate, that part didn't necessarily, come back through for me. They're always there. The committee is always there, but nobody showed up, to say, hey, this is who he was talking about and so on. But the big overview was, where was my voice being taken away? Okay, now this is where things get very, very interesting because I started taking notes for the first 5 days, and then I did kind of lose track there. On day one, I took a long drive with the music up and the top down. I had this very, very expansive opening heart feeling. I wish you could see, more than just this little bit of me because I'm just like it just tore right open, not in a painful way, but it was just absolutely and singing loud, even though my voice was trashed, and it didn't hurt, but just having all of that vibration come through, and quite honestly, my root and sexual organs were activated by all of this. Right, I felt very, very alive. And that's something that I struggle with is sacral and root chakra. They're suboptimal. I really have to work on them to get them active, right? Or I have to working on them, I should say. Day two, I was a lot more playful and a lot more willing to have fun. And I was pretty clear in my head on the boundaries imposed by the present company, what to say and not say in present company. So that's always a good thing to know when you're looking at where am I not using my voice where the way I should, And then also, I was more willing to handle the details and the follow through when conflict shows up. I had a situation in which I just immediately, instead of having an argument with the person that was doing something I didn't want them to do, I went right to like the town office, found out what the parameters were, found out what could be done and what couldn't be done, and then I dealing with it without just doing the whole yap 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 thingy. Okay. Let's see. Day 3, we did the show, and I hired a housekeeper. Okay, so this is a very weird thing. Okay, I am a tidy person. I keep up after myself, but I hate doing floors. I don't like to dust, and I just cannot deal with the chemical cleaners for the bathroom. So there's a few things that I just won't do in my life, and I totally just got over the ashamedness of not doing your own chores and hired somebody to do what I wanted them to do, right? What I'm unwilling to do myself. And then the next day, day 4, I considered going to see pentatonic alone, but then I ended up taking my sister with me. And I noticed there a different interaction with sound and with voice and such, because their pentatonics, for those who don't know, is all about this harmonies, right? They take pop music and they adjust them for 5-part harmony, and they're beautiful. And where I was sitting in this amphitheater, it was a cacophony. It was just bouncing in all the wrong ways, and I was so irritated because I could not appreciate the true sounds of their harmonies, their voices, right? And there were lots of sing-along bits. I did my best, and I trashed my voice again. Okay, so the last day that I started taking, that I was taking notes, was the day 5. I was simmering about the lack of appreciation and lack of acknowledgement for my boss at the general store so that he could go to Nebraska. Okay, so here's where all this comes to a head. I had worked 11 hours a day for 11 days straight so that my boss could go with his wife to a family wedding in Nebraska. And they got to go to a huge concert and hang out with their best friends and all of that. And when they came back, there was not a single word of gratitude or appreciation. Not a word. Not, hey, I had such a great time. Let me tell you all about it. Thanks for being here so that I could be there. Nothing like that. And it's I don't want to admit I'm that petty, but I was that petty. I was like, really? And I was stewing about it. And then I saw this meme that kind of put a brick into place for us. Because what that meme said, that emotional abuse teaches us how to play dead. Okay? So when you're out there and you're doing what you're doing, maybe you're cutting up or whatever, and somebody like suppresses you into silence, right? And this may happen over a period of time, but enough of these vibrational like hits, right? You just kind of fly under the radar. You want to be invisible. You don't want to say anything. You don't want to upset anybody because the end of the world is near, right? Well, this I noticed after a couple of days was the mode that I had gotten into with my prior boss. Like I was playing dead, because of this not being him not giving me the appreciation that I felt I deserved, and me feeling like I was being petty to say something about that, right? So I just flew under the radar. And then a couple of other things happened where a bunch of suspicions solidified. And I was so angry. I had called the state labor board to find out again, what are the parameters? What can people do? What can people do? And I found out where this person was breaking the law. So essentially, I sent him a text message saying, I'm not coming up this afternoon. I intend to, I'll send a letter of intent to resign by email. And then the next day, I sent the email and I also went in because what I did was I structured as a 2 weeks notice. It's saying, fix these things, come in compliance with the law, and my intent to resign disappears, right? And he refused to accept the 2 weeks and just let me go on the spot. Okay. So there's a little bit of butt pucker scared, right? Because it takes away half my income. But then there was something else that was really, really cool because one of the things I've been saying for a long time that I wanted to do was have a company or a business through which I could remotely work and work from anywhere. Not where I have to go into a brick and mortar store or a brick and mortar restaurant, right? But where I can work from anywhere. And wouldn't you know, all of this stuff started showing up about this voiceover work. Okay. You see why I'm telling you all the long story now?
If I may, before we go further, because we do have to take a commercial break, and I know that this is going to run in. So if we can take that commercial break, but before we do, James, let everybody know how they can meet you.
You can reach me at James at JamesKawainui, KAWAINUI.com. So you can reach out there, or you can go to my website, www.jameskawaiinui.com.
Excellent. And Gail, let everybody know how they can reach you, your website that they can reach you at. If they have questions,
Michelson.com. It's www.GAYLENICHOSOLSON.com. Or anywhere on Facebook or Twitter, it's spelled exactly the same, GAYLENICHOLSON.
Perfect. We're going to take that quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue right where we left off. So, folks, don't get confused. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm CJ. The Author's Porch is a community where you find good books and good people. We collaborate with services that deliver quality to authors and publish a magazine for authors by authors. Come by, let us feature you or review your book. Coffee is always on, and no matter what time you arrive or where you come from, the porch light is always on.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kitty Foss.
And I'm Amy J.
And we're Intuition of the Soul. We are a Facebook and YouTube group that has created a sacred spiritual place to look at your spiritual practices.
And there's too much to tell you about what we do, but let me tell you, we have weekly activities, we have monthly activities, and you are not going to want to miss our spiritual practitioner series. So join us on Intuition of the Soul.
Aloha.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. If you are just tuning in, know that you can come back and watch this from the very beginning on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, just to name a few. Anyway, I'm going to bring back our guest and volunteer. As I expected Gail to have an amazing experience through this amazing Hawaiian healing demo that James had given her about 4 weeks ago. I'm quite surprised on all that took place for her. So we're going to continue right where we left off. James was just about to start to ask her something just before I interrupted and told her we needed to go to commercial break. So James, what was that you were just about to go into?
Well, it wasn't more about asking. It was really an interesting thing. And I want to just celebrate Gail, because all these pieces that kind of lined up in place. And if there was a couple things that I really took away, was that you standing up for yourself. That was the first piece. You really looked at this place and you went, I'm not willing to do these things anymore. And you stood up for yourself. And that, I think that's powerful. A piece about how your voice is showing up. And those two things are definitely connected to each other, where you're speaking up and you're looking at what's going on. And I love the first thing that you said, that your first and your second chakra, like in some ways, got reignited. And when, and it's really interesting point, because when our voice gets activated and we start finding that voice again, the second and the fifth chakra are definitely connected. So when you see that place inside there, you know that the two of them are connected. So when one is open, the other one will open as well. The grounding piece inside of what you're talking about is bringing this grounding into everything, and you're making choices. And the last piece about remote work and just kind of dropping into place, and you're giving yourself the space now to be able to do that. So it's like I just kept listening to this, and there's a background in there, and I'm like going, yes.
Nice. Very
so really grateful for all of that to be able to see those things moving. And this is really because of the things that you're doing, the things that you've made choices for, Yes, there was places where we went and maybe there was a little bit of pointing the way a little bit, and when we do this kind of work, that's really what we're doing, is we're pointing the way. The ultimate decision, though, still comes down to you, and you made those for yourself. So, like, yay! I celebrate you.
Thank you. That was a really huge piece to do that, because my normal MO is codependent, and as long as you're happy, my feelings don't matter, and people are going to do whatever they're going to do. I'm just going to time to make the donuts my way through it. And this was a big shift for me to go, look. No, I'm wasting my life over here when there's something else for me to do.
I'm not willing to tolerate this anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. So yeah, I was literally unboxing my new microphone. The irony of it is that I had sold that employer my old microphone and headphones set up, because I wasn't doing my podcast as often anymore. So I went and got a new actual professional grade recording mic out of the whole thing, instead of going back to my little, my little thingy. And so all of this is kind of coming through very, very nicely. So I thank you very much for the healing that you did, because it's a huge piece that I've been working on for a long time. I got
really happy.
Thank you. I got told by a psychic, maybe almost 30 years ago, maybe a little bit less than that. that her guides were telling her that I needed to speak. I needed to speak. And then another psychic had told me, if anybody comes to you asking you to do radio, grab it. You will easy, right? So those things are all kind of, falling in line with all of this as well. For some reason, my life is about having your voice, right? Having what there is to say, saying what there is to say. As a coach, that's one of the things that we work on with my clients the most is say what there is for you to say, and then you can move on from there in one direction or another. Sometimes, you have to have that outside set of eyes to look at where even the coach is blocked up, so thank you for that.
Yeah, it's that piece of stepping beyond that, and the strength that comes from that. So, I mean, I don't know if you have any other questions, or if Joanne has a question, or if anybody else had reached out to ask a question or anything else like that. So this might be a really good place to answer those. Do you? I don't know if you had anything to say.
Yes, I do have a question for Gail. Before we went to commercial break, she was just about to start to talk about some new things that are coming up for her in regards to the remote part of it. Are you open to sharing some of that? Is that still in the making?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Now things are kind of like still in process of meshing, if you will. But this the voiceover recording that I plan to be doing, that I'm converting a little closet for that in my apartment. But also, if I was going to go on the road, I could convert my little 6x8 trailer that I've got as well, and soundproof that. Visiting my daughter in Michigan, she's already got a soundproof podcast closet. So it's just going down to Arizona that I would, at any rate. So that's all very possible. One of the other things that I've been doing is I'm an amateur photographer. I take really good pictures, concert photography and landscapes. And so I was talking with my other boss that I still have that job, and they love me. It's a restaurant, and they have different artists putting their work on the walls. And so he said, well, why don't you bring, get some of your stuff printed up and bring some in to sell. So I'm looking for investors right now to print out those pieces. So, but that's another thing. And as I was chatting with one of my morning regulars at the restaurant, I was telling her about it. I showed her a couple of things. She bought a print already.
Wow, nice.
Instead of sharing that with them. And then also, I've been researching what it takes to become a freelance marketer, because you find a product that's already doing well, and then you put your little spin assist on it, and an Amazon link to the same product that gets shipped out from there. There's no overhead. There's no keeping any products in your garage kind of thing. It gets handled through fulfillment elsewhere. You're just helping spread the word about this and getting a little bit of a cut for doing so. And if you get the right products, they can really do well. I want to do print on demand for my photography on shirts and mugs and such, as well as a few little pithy sayings as well. So yeah, it's coming together as kind of a conglomeration of portfolio work where, there's some things that, maybe I got to go into the restaurant for this, but most of these other things I can go and do from anywhere at any time. So, and that's
the freedom of that.
Yeah.
The freedom of that, and it, I remember part of the session towards the end, when we had moved through the clearing work, was the grounding and the opening of the energy to bring, so that the energy was flowing through you. And so you're talking about all of this, and I'm thinking about, listen at how much the energy is flowing right now. And so I keep hearing that, and I keep thinking that And there was those places, because there were certain places in your body where the energy was kind of holding, not just your throat, but in a couple other places too. Now having the opening of that, and in a lot of ways, you're talking and it's like feeling your crown chakra open as all this energy is pouring in. So it's like this universal energy of look at what's available.
Right. Yes.
keeps showing up in this place. So yeah, that was, I don't know, I guess keep looking at this going, wow, I am so happy for you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
From me, no, because you're confirming some of the, I mean, you actually are kind of almost going back on almost everything that we talked about, that place inside. If I had one question that I would ask you is, I know we did some of that work, the work with your little girl. Sounds like she's open and has the space now to play a little bit more, because these are all fun things that the little girl gets to do, or that you and the little girl get to do together. So I wanted to just kind of get a little bit of feedback on if you've been nurturing that relationship, or watching how maybe the shift inside of that relationship is shifting some of the things that are happening for you as well.
As you're saying it, it's quite possibly, that some of that is shifting things, because I am more childlike and more lighthearted. But I don't work with my inner child anymore.
Okay, and fair enough, and it's not anything that has to happen.
Anything comes up for me, she doesn't come up for me. Yeah, right. But yeah, I notice I have been a lot more lighthearted, a lot more willing to have fun. In fact, that was like, what was it, day 2? Playful, more willing to have fun. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think that's to look more closely at that. Yeah, the playful stuff, that's kind of a bit of a breakthrough. I'm not I'm not a frivolous person, I can have fun, don't get me wrong, but it's usually very adult fun.
Yes.
Cool. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Joanne, did you have a question, Joanne?
Well, I actually have a question for you, James, in regards to, if you did watch the show, maybe they're not here with us today and they get to watch this on the replay. What would probably be a question that you would be asking them, so they can maybe just go over in their own head what they might have experienced from that healing as well? Because I always believe that whether the individual is getting the healing session, if they're watching it, we all experience something from it one way or another. So what would be a question that maybe our viewers could be asking themselves at this time to see what they have accomplished from the healing?
For me, with anybody that I work with, it comes down to the somatics, because when we can feel and we can experience the energy moving through our bodies is when it shows up, because then we're not thinking about what's going on, and it's not conceptual anymore, because what happens is I'm actually having the experience inside my physical form. So 2 questions that I would ask is, have you noticed the way that the energy, or if the energy has changed, how it's moving? And because of the shift in the energy, or if you notice the energy, do you feel like you can be more grounded inside yourself? And those are really important, not concepts, those are really important things to understand, because the more we are grounded inside of ourselves, the more we have a tendency to be present. And when we're present, we're not thinking about our past so much anymore, and we're not using energy other than where we are in the moment and what we want to create. And so this is place of that, feeling the energy moving through, which everything that Gail is talking about is about feeling the energy and connecting to it and allowing that energy to move things forward for her. And that connection now that she's having with the physical part of who she is. That first, second chakra, that was huge when you said that about that grounding, and because that second chakra energy is also about connecting to your ability to manifest and the divine feminine. And so, like, you're living in some ways in, and I hope I can say this, like, it feels more juicy, everything that you're doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The
It's
next
interesting. It's interesting.
What?
I was looking at my notes just a few seconds ago, just to see if, when we had the show, if any of what I've been experiencing in the last 4 weeks had any impact in regards to that healing that James did. And it was almost a duplicate of what Gail experienced, like the ability to speak up, the ability to ground and speak up, to have a voice, to not be in that, words I'm hearing is that people pleasing, or you know what, I'm just gonna stay quiet and just, I'm gonna do what they're telling me to do, and that's it. And there was a major shift for me in regards to, no, I'm not going to do just because you're saying this what needs to be done. I'm going to research. I'm going to research and see what my rights are, where I am, what I was supposed to receive, what I didn't receive, and then speak up in that content. So even for me, it was definitely a major expansion in the throat chakra to be able to express, and I was one watching and witnessing this. So again, for the audience out there, they may have experienced something too, and may not even be connecting that, oh wow, you know what? This might have had taken place during the time that James was doing this amazing Hawaiian healing demo. So for those who are watching, whether you're watching now or on the replay, take note, because I had to look at my notes too and say, wait a minute, I experienced this as well. So you got many people experiencing the ability to open up their throat chakra so they can express. And I think that's really big for women specifically, to learn how to speak up and not think that, well, I'm supposed to just go this way, or I'm not supposed to say anything.
Well, I think it's worth noting that in both my case as well as Joanne's, it wasn't just about speaking up and expressing ourselves, okay? Women get a lot of grief about speaking up and expressing themselves in a hysterical way, right? But the way that both of us experienced this, it was like, there's an injustice here. Let me find out what's the parameters inside of which, that I can actually speak up effectively and deal with this situation, not just have a flying fit, you know?
Yes, exactly.
That's what I mean. There's power in it.
Energy really like kicked in with it, because it's like, let's base this in reality and create something that fucking works here. Oh, sorry. But
self-expression, yes.
Hey, listen, you don't have to apologize to me. So there you go.
Well, it's a respectable cable access channel.
Exactly. So James, again, since we do have to take a commercial break, let everyone know that email address that they can reach you at.
Yeah, it's james@jameskawaiinui.com. And listen, if you need, you just want to have a conversation, just reach out and we'll schedule a time to talk.
Yes. And the same, Gail, give that email address so they can reach you, because I'm sure they may have a question or two in regards to where you're going to be going after this.
My email address is g2@gailnicholson.com. So that's g2@gailnicholson.com.
Awesome. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, there's going to be perhaps a tip that maybe both James and Gail can share. And assuming I can do this in time, I'm going to give both the number card reading. So we'll be right back.
Are you ready for solutions and connections? If so, I can help. Hi, I'm Tammy Moses, and I help the peripheral people resolve hoarding issues in a holistic way. I would love to connect with you and learn more about how I can help in your unique situation. Please send me an email to thehoardingsolution@gmail.com. I look forward to connecting with you.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
What do you think is the biggest hurdle that's holding you back from living the life that you wanted to live, the life of your dreams? Aloha, everyone. My name is James Koinui. I'm a native Hawaiian healer. My family goes back in Hawaii over 20 generations, and I work with my ancestors to help you answer that question and any other questions you may have. Reach out to me, james@jameskoinui.com, or you can find me www.jameskoinui.com.
Hello, welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and I'm going to bring you right back my guest and volunteer, James and Gail, as we dive into the remaining portion of our show today. We've been chatting about the Q&A based on the Hawaiian healing demo that took place about 4 weeks ago. If you're just tuning in now, you're definitely going to come back later and watch, because Gail shared some amazing information that she experienced during this healing demo. And I've known Gail quite some time now, and I'm impressed by all that she experienced. I'm in awe of what she experienced during this healing, because I know that this is big for her, to be able to really activate the throat so she can speak up. So I applaud you, Gail, for experiencing this, being open to track the days that you track, so you could have this amazing feedback for today's show. So what I would like, we're going to start with Gail. I would like, Gail, for you to give maybe one tip for our audience in regards to, for them, if they ever get the experience to have a healing demo, what would be the one tip you can provide for them so they can get the best out of that demonstration, just like you did?
I think the best tip that I could actually provide anyone is look for evidence that supports your healing, not for ways that it didn't work. Because whatever you look for,
yeah, that's a goodie. That's a goodie. Yes. I like that. Love that. And James, for you, what would be a tip as the healer? I mean, we're all healers here. So what would be the tip that you can offer to our audience in reference to when they are going to experience a healing demo, whether that demo, not even a demonstration, but a session, whether that session is an actual hands-on where they're actually in your space, or a session where it's done virtually speaking? What tip would you offer?
I think Gail gave a really good advice, and that is to be as open as possible. You know, can we come in from a place of being as neutral as possible and watching the ways that our mind might be wanting to hijack what we're doing or have a certain outcome in mind. And I think when we come into sessions or healing sessions or anything else like that, and we have an outcome in mind, or sometimes we have judgments, and being able to let go of those judgments then opens to the space. And I'm thinking in relationship to listening to the first show and then coming back and listening to the second show, what I wanted to say, if you hear the show for the demo, is that energy is energy, doesn't change. And so even though the show may be a month old, the energy of what we did that day is still embedded inside of that. So give yourself permission to fully allow that to happen as you go through that.
That's excellent. I love that. And I do want to put out there, and there's a flyer that will be shown later, that James is offering 30-minute sessions. So go back and watch the actual healing demo, and then go ahead and book that session with James, so you too can have, just similar to a Gail experience, where you get that hands-on with him, and you can share whatever it is you experience, and then have him answer questions for you should you have questions. So I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Thank you so much for both tips that you both gave. And as you were giving tips, and I know I had said before we went to commercial break that I would be giving both of you an individual reading. But what I'm actually hearing is I'm going to shuffle the deck. I'm going to pull one card that's going to actually go for both of you. So while I do that, I want you both to think about a question that you would like that card to answer for you. Now, this is where I get to show my crafts, my magic, and etc. Because again, for the audience out there, cards are similar. When one card is pulled, doesn't matter how many of you are sitting holding a question, ideally, that card is going to almost definitely answer something based on whatever the question was. So let's see how this works. So for both of you, just think about something that you would like some guidance on. Hold that in your mind's eye. And let's see what card shows up. And the same thing for our audience. Think about something you would like some guidance on. And let's see what shows up. That card did not want to come out. There we go. Interesting card. The card is love partnership.
Oh,
love
beautiful.
Partnership. Yes, love partnership. And it's so perfectly aligned. I'm hoping that everyone's seen the card from the first portion of the show, which was about self-love. This is like a second part to that, love partnership. Most people, when they see this card right away, they're like, oh my God, it's a relationship with somebody else, going to fall in love, etc. The partnership you have with yourself while doing this Hawaiian healing demo, you literally do open up this new relationship with self. And it could very well be about another partnership coming through, someone that you're engaging into a conversation with. Interesting enough, the chakra here, ironically, is the throat chakra. And also reshuffle the cards, right? So this is about, obviously, the throat chakra. It is about having that conversation with whomever it is you want to have a conversation with. If there is someone you are maybe not in reaching eye to eye with right now, this is the perfect time to tap into your heart right now. And just like Gail did, where she, and even for myself, we went and looked for research to back up whatever the issues are, to have the ability to stand strong and be empowered in the conversation. You could do the same thing in regards to any type of relationship you're in. And being open, my perception is both parties are always right, because what one person is seeing, how they see whatever it is their perception. So it's really not our place to turn around and tell them, well, you're wrong. When we can get to that place of saying, no, you were absolutely right based on the way you saw it from your perception. And I was absolutely right based on the way I saw it from my perception. And when we can do that, we actually help and teach the other people to look at things in a different way and learn to listen and communicate. So it's about listening. What do you need to hear from your partner? How are you listening to your partner? Are you paying attention to what your partner is saying and even not saying? Because we say so much just in body language. By being still, we say so much. Yes, James.
Oh, I know. I was just going to say, how are we listening to ourselves, or are we listening to ourselves? Gail's listening to herself, and she's following the breadcrumbs, really.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Through that listening. So that's a powerful card.
Yes, yes. And when we think of the number 6-3, we think of that number as 9, which is major transformations that we're all experiencing with this energy that we're experiencing, the energy healings that we're going through. So we are all really letting go of the way we communicate, the old ways of communicating, and being open to transform into new ways of communicating. So I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm hoping that this card did resonate with both of you. And if it doesn't resonate now, go back later, sit with it, and it may end up resonating later. You may get one of those aha moments like, oh, that's what that card was talking to me about. So take that with you for today. One last time, James, let everybody know how they can reach you.
Reach out to James at jameskoinui.com and just write me an email.
Beautiful, beautiful. And also, Gail, for you, your email address?
That is g2@gailnickerson.com.
Awesome. And once again,
Go ahead.
Yeah. once again, thank you to two of you for being here for this Q&A. And again, for everyone who's watching, whether you're watching right now or on the replay, or you've gone back and watched the actually healing demo, please go ahead and reach out to both of them in regards to questions. If you wish to get that session with James, feel free to reach out. This is what we're here for. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to come back with the conclusion of today's show. Thank you again so much for the two of you for being here and sharing.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Hello and welcome. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast Deck, and the founder of Holistic Fitness located in Queens. I work with women, men by referral, over 40, release weight, physically, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically, relating to their childhood and past life traumas associated with their Chiron womb. When clients work with me, they fall in love with the body that they are in and gain the confidence to be seen and heard and ready to walk away from their job and fully step into their soul's contract. To learn more about your Chiron moon and your soul's contract, redeem your complimentary 15-minute self-growth discovery session today by emailing healingwithin76@gmail.com. I do look forward to helping you blend the physical and mystical world together and working with the mystical medicine tools to help you heal from within. Hello, and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. If you are just tuning in right now, oh my God, you missed an amazing show. You will definitely have to go back, watch. You can watch it right here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and of course, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Twitch TV for that matter. This was an amazing show. And both James and Gail here. Gail had such an amazing healing experience from the Hawaiian healing demo that James provided 4 weeks ago. Anyway, want to remind you that some of our partners have some amazing opportunities for you to take advantage of working with them. And to start with, we have James, who's offering a 30-minute complimentary Hawaiian healing session with him. His information is right there. Reach out to him for it. I highly recommend that you do. Then we have Joe Monkman, who's offering both Divine Manifestation course and Spirit Messages. Both are active as we speak, but you still can sign up for them. Then our badass color mystic. She too, Mr. Burr, always has something going on. Then we have the Author's Porch magazine and podcast. She's got the next upcoming issue coming out in October. So if you have not yet gotten your issues, do so. You can look up the information. Intuition of the Soul always has some amazing opportunities for you as well. So check them out. And then last but not least, me, the Chakra Balance Reiki Circle on-site event. If you are interested in attending, please reach out. Numbers on the bottom. There's still space. This takes place in Queens. So there you have it. Our next episode, here's some new news for each and every one of you. Our next episode will take place on October 4th. New day on Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So I look forward to seeing you all then. And till then, enjoy the remaining portion of the season that we're in. Enjoy the remaining portion of Virgo. And let's get ready for that fall equinox. Bye-bye for now.